Hello and welcome to another segment of the Fitness Whisperer. Thank you for joining me. So a few weeks ago I got an email from a viewer requesting that I speak about, or at least make a video about, MCL and ACL tears and how do you go about repairing the injured knee after you've gone through the whole physiotherapy and rehab process, because to the contrary, rehab after a knee injury, may it be injured from a sport, from an accident, car accident, slip and fall, you name it. After you go through your rehab or physiotherapy, there still is months of additional rehab that individuals should be doing in order to make sure that the knee is being strengthened and to avoid any reoccurring injuries. So that's what today's video is about. So an ACL or an MCL tear of the knee is very debilitating to begin with. If you happen to suffer from such an injury, you're restricted to crutches for quite some time, and then it's a matter of you figuring out how much of your body weight you can place on your knee. And to go through that whole process from crutches to learning how to walk again to the point where you don't even have to think about your knee, it's quite a long and daunting process. Often with ACL or MCL injuries, you also get a partially torn menisci, which makes the situation even worse, okay? So you have your ACL, the ligament on the inner side of your knee, your MCL, the ligament on the outside of your knee, and you also have your menisci. So the best way that will help a lot in rehabbing the knee on your own and strengthening the ligaments and the muscles around the knee as well. First and foremost, what I would recommend people to do, now keep in mind, what I'm recommending for people to do, this is with the expectation that individuals are no longer walking with crutches. They can put between 90 to 95% of their body weight on their knee when they're walking, and they're no longer using crutches like I said, okay? So what I'm recommending are for individuals that are at that stage. You've gone through the rehab process, you're well on your way to recovery. The ACL and the MCL, whichever one you've injured, maybe both. If you've torn the menisci as well, it's still fairly sore. You want to strengthen it, you want to rehab it on your, you want to continue to rehab it after you've gone through your physiotherapy. First and foremost, what I would recommend for people to do who've suffered from those injuries is to walk barefoot. Now, in my previous videos, I've recommended walking barefoot for people with lower back injuries and hip injuries as well. Walking barefoot after a knee injury is essential, and this is why. By walking barefoot, what you're actually stimulating are the sensors or the receptors that run along the side of the knee. And what that does is that controls the balance, right? So by walking barefoot, wherever you're injured, so we're talking about the knee, for example, so those ligaments and muscles on the side are going to be stimulated. So they're going to be shaking just like this. So you're initiating the proprioceptor sensors in and around the knee. What that does is that it goes a long way in helping your knee recover that much faster, okay? So walk barefoot. Now, if you've only injured one knee, hopefully so, essentially you can walk barefoot with just the on the foot that's injured, where the knee's injured. But I think it would be best for you to just walk barefoot, take the socks off. You want to be walking barefoot, both feet barefoot, walking around, okay? You want to engage the proprioceptors on both sides of the body. Even though that only one side is impacted, like for example, the right knee, you want to go barefoot on the left foot as well. So you're engaging both sides of the body. So when you're walking, those proprioceptors are feeding off each other, okay? So walk barefoot. Whenever you get a chance, take the socks off, take the shoes off, and walk barefoot all the way through the whole rehab period as you're rehabbing the knee yourself. Until you get to the point where you don't even have to think about your knee anymore, there's no more pain, then you might want to consider putting the socks on again. But I would recommend, as a matter of fact, for you to walk barefoot all the time, even when your knee's better. Just continue to walk barefoot. It's going to go a long way in repairing the knee and making sure those proprioceptors sensors on the MCL side and on the ACL side of the knee are constantly being stimulated. Because the one thing with knee injuries Even though you do recover and you're back and you're walking again and everything is great, you never fully recover from a knee injury. You never do. So keep that in mind and walk barefoot all the time. Okay, so that's one great way. A second great way that will help your knee, your ACL and your MCL repair that much quicker is a Bosu ball. Now, the best way to rehab the knee using a Bosu ball, and maybe you've done this through going through your physiotherapy, what you want to do, now actually before I start to explain, I did mention a Bosu ball. For those of you out there who don't know what a Bosu ball is, I would recommend that you go on YouTube, type in Bosu ball, Bosuball, do a quick search and see exactly what it looks like and how it works, okay? Get a Bosu ball and just stand on it, okay? Slight bend in the knees, hands out, and just stand on the Bosu ball. Right away, your feet or your legs on each side are going to start shaking. Now, I just mentioned the proprioceptors. So that shaking or that feeling of imbalance are those proprioceptors. So once again, you're really engaging those proprioceptors. They're firing off and they're sending sensors to the part of the knee that's impacted. And once again, it will go a long way in repairing your knee. All right, get a Bosu ball, stand on top of it, slight bend in your knees, hands out, do about 3 or 4 20-second intervals. So what I mean by that, stand on the Bosu ball, count to 20, get off, rest for 20 seconds, get back on and count to 20, okay? Do that 4 times. So 4 20-second intervals, stand on the Bosu ball. Continue to do that all the way through the duration of your own self-rehab and continue to do it. I mean, once your knee does get better, you may not need to stand on the Bosu ball every day. And by the way, yes, I would recommend that you do this every day as your knee's recovering. Every day, stand on the Bosu ball, 4 20-second intervals. So when your knee does get better and you no longer feel the pain, maybe go on the Bosu ball 2 or 3 times a week. Same thing, 4 20-second intervals. Continue to strengthen and stabilize those knee receptors on your MCL side and on the ACL side as well, okay? Now, along with the Bosu ball, along with standing on the Bosu ball, another great way to help the knee by using the Bosu ball as well is by doing this. So you're standing, you're facing the Bosu ball, and just stand up on the Bosu ball. Balance for about 20 seconds, stand off, wait for 5 seconds. Then stand up again on the Bosu ball. Slight bend in the knees, hands out, shake. You're gonna shake regardless. 20 seconds, come off again, okay? So just like how you're doing the 4 20-second intervals by just standing on the Bosu ball for 20 seconds, the next exercise to do on the Bosu ball is to stand on the Bosu ball 20 seconds, get off. Maybe count to about 3 seconds. Count to 3 and then get back on again for 20 seconds. Slight bend in the knees, hands out, okay? 4 20-second intervals of that as well. Stand up, 20 seconds, stand off, count to 3 and back up again, okay? So 4 20-second intervals of doing that as well. So really focus on walking barefoot. And if you can invest in a Bosu ball, I would highly recommend that you get a Bosu ball as well and do those exercises like I said, okay? So to recap, the first exercise for you to do on the Bosu ball is to get up on it, stand on the Bosu ball, slight bend in your knee. You want your feet to be a little bit wider than shoulder width apart, hands out. I'll repeat again, slight bend in your knee. You don't want to keep your knees locked, right? Bend your knees a bit, take the stress off your back. Arms out, both hands out. Stand on the Bosu ball for 20 seconds, okay? Get off, rest for 20 seconds, and get back on again. Slight bend in the knee, feet a little bit wider than shoulder width apart, hands out for 20 seconds, okay? Now, when you're standing on the Bosu ball, and I didn't mention this earlier, but it just came to mind. When you're standing on the Bosu ball, you don't want to be leaning forward, okay? Because you're putting too much stress on your back. Keep your back fairly upright, right? So still slight bend in your knee, but you're standing upright, okay? 20 seconds on, 20 seconds off. First exercise. The second exercise to do on the Bosu ball is you're just gonna stand on the ball, feet a little bit wider than shoulder width apart, and then stand off again, okay? So stand up and stand off. All right, so that's basically it. So walk around barefoot, use the Bosu ball, do those 2 exercises on the Bosu ball. By incorporating those 3 recommendations, you're going to go a long way in speeding up the recovery of your knee. And like I said, even when your knee is feeling better, continue to do those exercises, because once you injured your knee, it's highly unlikely that it's ever going to go back to the same way it is. Okay? All right? So that's pretty much it. So once again, I'd like to thank those people that have been sending me emails. I do appreciate it. I appreciate those great questions. If there's a question that I read in the email that sounds like a great video subject matter, I'll definitely speak to it, just like what I'm talking about or speaking to right now. And for those of you who don't know my email, just click on the description box below. You see all my contact information. You can reach me on Twitter. You can reach me on Instagram. All my contact information is under the description box. And also, don't forget to hit the like button and hit that subscribe button as well, okay? So that's it. Fairly short video today. I just wanted to touch on that topic, and hopefully you'll take something away from this video. So thanks for watching, and bye for now.